broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome, Switched at Birth fans. We're back, that's right. We're talking Switched at Birth Season 4 premiere. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. With me, Hannah Prichard. Hey. Everybody, welcome Hannah to our Switched at Birth family, to our UMCKC, the school. The school. I was trying to make a reference to the school.
Too much, and I lost it.
Sorry, guys. Let's jump into Switched at Birth, because we pick up right where we left off.
Yes.
Bae has just revealed that she was in fact the one who did what. Yeah, you're shaking your head.
Well, the whole situation drives me crazy that she does that, which I understand why she does it. Mm-hmm. But then with how her parents handle it all drove me insane. Like, who would be supportive, even if like they were trying to help Daphne? I'm like, but now Bae. Now Bae's in trouble. And Bae's life is messed up because of this.
Okay, so the thing is, Bae's life, up until what happens in this episode, it's not really that messed up. This doesn't affect her. It doesn't really affect her plans or her future. And yes, if one day she wants to run for a political office, she's shot herself in the foot. But
probably not going to happen.
Yeah, Bae's not going to. And I know I think I say it all the time here. Bae does a lot of stupid things.
That was one of them.
And this is one of them. But also, we're not expecting her to do better.
It's awful. And the way they were so excited, like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. This is a wonderful idea, Bae.
Only John was saying that it's brilliant.
Crazy.
And here's the problem that I had. And we talked about it last season, that by Bae going and giving them this alternate version of what happened, they negated both of these claims. They could have easily gotten a lawyer, taken it to court, and won. Because there's no way now to prove if Bae was there or not, or if Daphne was there or not. Somebody is having a battle outside of the after show. There's a battle. Sorry, guys. So anyway, that's where I thought John was going with this when he was like, "This is genius. She's brilliant," and then he didn't go there.
No.
He told her, "You know what? This was a stupid thing you did, but it was very brave." What?
But now.
It kind of shows favoritism towards
It does, exactly. I'm like, well, now we all understand what Bae's been talking about for the past couple seasons.
Yeah,
she is kind of the one left out to some degree. They all just favored Daphne. Drives me crazy.
Daphne has a future.
Yep. And Bae, well, she's just gonna move to LA
and be an artist, and she has no plan and no future.
Who cares about that?
Yeah, we'll talk about Bae's whole situation. It just really, what angered me the most is that they didn't figure out that now they could have taken this to. Does no one in this show watch Law and Order?
No.
There's reasonable doubt on both of their stories. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's so
okay. Listen, they were just trying to create more problems to fuel the show. Yeah. Now it's going to carry on forever, and now it's just a tumbling effect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just getting worse.
Well, so Bae gets house arrest, 7 p.m. curfew, and community service. Great. We jump 10 weeks into the future.
I know it.
Here's it's January here in the real world, and we're still watching when we see Bae's timeline, it's 2004. They're looking at December. They're looking at last month. I'm like, guys, catch up to where we are.
True statement.
Like, we saw them go, the season ended in the summer. So they had the summer. So they were on track.
Right.
And then we had a Christmas special from last year.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
From 2013. Yeah.
They're really confused.
Yeah. They don't seem to, it's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
It's fine.
All right. Let's talk about Daphne, because she's packing to go to DC. She's going to go to Gallaudet. She's so excited. Your face.
This makes me mad too, though. because after she's allowed Bae to take the credit so she can go to this school, then she decides at the last minute she's not going to go, and that's supposed to be better.
Yeah. She is trying to please Bae and thank her by making her this gourmet lunch and driving her around and whatever. But she, all Bae wants is her to go to Gallaudet and become a doctor. And I get that. I do. Bae feels like you got to make this sacrifice, this thing that she did, worth something.
Right.
And Daphne is on her way and is like, oh, you know what? I'm not ready to leave home. Yeah, you should have thought about that 10 weeks ago.
She's like all the kinds of selfish, which she always has been. But this episode, I'm like, really? You all? And considering that it was 10 weeks and just now they're addressing the fact that there may be issues between them and that just now evolves, I'm like, there should have already been issues between them. When 10 weeks goes by, those two sisters I'm surprised they didn't kill each other.
Yeah.
Surprised by it.
Also, as someone, I went to college. I went through the application and housing and all of that. There is no possible way that you, a week or so before you have to leave, cancel
and had an offer.
Had an offer, go into another school and get a room. I don't know about other schools, but at my school, housing was impossible.
Right? And I love how they try to drop that in there by Iris being like, wasn't expecting to have a roommate. My stuff's everywhere. And I'm like, well, of course you weren't. She just enrolled a few days ago. That doesn't happen.
Also, in what world do you not get a roommate? It's a double.
Right?
There's a second person who's supposed to be there.
Never happens.
Yeah. I want someone who went to a different school where housing was easy.
Yeah, right? And you didn't have to be in a waiting list.
Yeah. Maybe private schools are like that. I went to a public university.
Well, we're just going to tell ourselves that that's how it's like for the sake of the show.
Yeah, I don't get it. All right. So Daphne enrolls in UMKC, which is the most difficult school initials ever.
Yeah, because when you said it even, I was like, huh, what?
Yeah. It took
Maybe I just glossed over the initials.
Well, at first, with the way that Daphne is easily enrolling, I was like, oh, it's a community college. But then I figured the letters it's not.
Well, see, that's what I thought too. When she went to that first meeting and everything, it seemed like a community college kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yes, very much
okay.
so.
And then I was like, okay, then that may make sense for it being so easy for her to just
but there
go
wouldn't
in.
be housing. There isn't.
Right?
There isn't housing. Also, if this school is where I think it is, she could live at home.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless she's trying to get the college experience.
Yeah, because that's what this girl needs.
Right? She needs to be at home.
Yeah.
She needs to be at home. She's not getting punished at all for what she did. Not
Right.
even from the family. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, we later on we'll talk about how Emmett approaches her.
Yeah.
And what he says. But I want to talk about trying to sign up for pre-med classes. And I like this interaction where she goes to sign up for classes and the woman is like, this class is full.
Right? And I wanted that to stick. I wanted that to stick so bad. I wanted Daphne just to have some sort of, I don't know, struggle a little bit.
Yeah. Even the struggle that she has.
Yeah.
Even the struggle that she has to find an interpreter who happens to know chemistry.
Oh, because he just shows up out of nowhere. Of course, we make that so perfect that her problem can be fixed in 10 minutes on the show.
Yeah. This girl needs to, yes, she's suffered. Her father died. Yes, we were all heartbroken.
We get that.
But
you told me about this. Sure was a sad episode.
For those who didn't watch our after show last season, it's Melina and I on the verge of tears the entire after show. It was really
I believe
sad.
it. Well, he was beautiful to look at too, so it's fine.
Everything.
We won't talk about
it. Oh my God. Okay, so I'll skip to it because I want to talk about it now. Regina, when she comes to UMKC to look at what the program is, and she says, Angela would have been so proud. And she's about to cry. I almost started that's the one sentence.
It's true.
And it was so heartbreaking.
It's true. And it was a good moment for them to do that because I feel like with this episode and all the things going on right now, at least watching it, I kind of forgot about everything that had already happened. You know what I mean? Because this is such a big, it's supposed to be like a big storyline. And then for her to say that, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is tough. This is a big moment in her life and Dad's not here, but I'm still mad at her.
Yeah.
It still didn't change anything for me. I was like, oh, cute. Okay, but seriously, somebody's got to give this girl like a spanking or something.
Did we not remember that Daphne did cocaine last season?
I completely forgot about that, actually.
Did you not watch the previously on Switched at Birth, which showed that whole
listen,
sequence?
I was in a hurry when I started it, so I was like, okay, I remember what happened, so...
Clearly not. Angelo's dead.
I remember that part.
Okay.
I got that. I was crying with you somewhere, just not here.
Yeah. So we meet Professor Murillo, who's played by Bess Armstrong. For those who probably are way too young to know who she is, she was on a show called My So-Called Life, which in the 90s
Oh my gosh, I
was a
forgot
deal.
about that show.
Yeah.
Seriously,
You're what I'm talking about. Kids. There was a show.
I'm not that young.
Claire Danes, who is on Homeland, used to be on a show called My So-Called Life when she was a teenager. This was back in the days when she did Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. You're all like, when did this happen?
Okay, I do remember, obviously, Romeo and Juliet. I mean,
Sure.
Nobody can forget that. It's a wonderful movie. But I mean, My So-Called Life, I forget a little bit.
Yeah.
But...
So Bess Armstrong was on that show.
And she was great.
Yeah. And she was great in this episode.
Yeah, she was really great in this episode. I loved it.
Yeah, I really like this professor. The interaction and that conversation reminded me a lot of, this is going to sound terrible. It reminded me a little bit of Legally Blonde, the first one, and a little bit of How to Get Away with Murder.
I love that show too.
Yeah, so basically... a professor for a pre-med program reminded me of professors for
everything else.
Two law instances. This interaction about the red hair and the, what that means.
I liked it.
I loved it.
And I don't know if it was just her performance that made it so great, because when I actually think about the dialogue, I'm like, well, of course it's still going to be that easy. For me, it was still so easy, but her performance was so good that it actually made it a really good interaction. Yeah. And I liked that part in the episode.
I also think it was very important that she says at the end of the conversation about finding an interpreter that she's not discouraging her.
It's true.
That she is giving her a reality check, and that she needs to get someone worth it, or she will drown.
It's true, which actually is true. And I didn't think about that when she said it, because Daphne does speak so well and doesn't really show that she has any issue, you know what I mean? Yeah. Understanding at all. So when she said that, it was it even made me realize, okay, that's actually true. With all of that jargon and everything that's going to be used in that class, there's no way that she could read lips that fast, or at least not to my understanding.
Right. But. And when we meet Josh eventually, Iris's cousin, the thing that he talked about, how interpreters are certified and interpreters have to be trained. There are different interpreters for legal things, for medical things, for other, for school, for high school, for elementary school, for college. It's all different levels.
Yeah.
And they're all different sects. And you can't have one interpreter who does everything, because you need to learn all these different terms.
It's true. And I honestly never thought about that until it was brought up.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
When I was studying sign language, I took a linguistics class in sign language. And I'll tell you this, taking a class on linguistics, you learn words that you've never, I've never heard them before. I've never seen them written before. And I learned them in sign language first.
That's insane, but that's awesome.
So to think about the concept of these are new terms for you in a language that's not your first language. So that's where, I feel like that's where Daphne's going to be, is she's learning all these new terminologies that are having to be translated for her.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see where they go with this.
I was going to say, that can be really cool, the way they work that. As long as they, do it properly instead of what they're doing with the other situation.
Let's talk a little bit about Josh, who does not want to help her, who I don't want to get into predictions, but I'm positive they're going to be a item.
I know, and I considered that too, because I feel like they never introduce a guy, especially when it comes to Daphne, and then not progress into some sort of relationship.
Yeah.
But they have presented this guy with zero redeemable qualities thus far, in this episode. There's nothing about him that I honestly like, really. And he just has an air about him that bothers me.
I feel like they do that on purpose, so that next 2 episodes we hear some heart-wrenching story. Oh, this is what happened to him, and this is why he's so cold. Well, I don't care. I don't like him.
I know, but okay. And here's another thing, though, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here and just am being ridiculous. But I also wondered, though, because there were some feminine qualities about him that I'm like, maybe this could be like a homosexual storyline that they could go as well. Because I was like, they're either going to set them up to be together, or he may actually end up liking guys. Or maybe I just saw that.
Maybe.
But to me, I thought he had some feminine qualities to his character.
So you think that maybe they were trying to portray that he might be on his coming out journey, and therefore that's why he's so obnoxious?
Possibly.
I see where you're going. I'm gonna
disagree. I was gonna say, or I am just crazy. But when I was watching it, I was like, oh, he may be gay.
No, I think he's just annoying.
Well, that could be true as well.
Yeah. Not to say that those have anything to do with each other. I'm just saying I think he's annoying. I just want to clarify that, because that sounded terrible. I think he's annoying. I don't like Josh.
But he's very attractive. At least
I disagree.
Seriously?
Yeah.
When he stood up and he was like standing by her having that conversation, I was like, oh, he's a good looking man. The show.
I am a John Kennish fan. Everyone knows
what?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm not mad at you for that. I'm a little confused, but
no, there's no reason.
Hey, go for it, girl. Somebody's got to be on that team.
I will. So just real quick, Daphne is begging Josh to help, and she gives him this tear-jerking, pulling at the heartstrings plea of, wouldn't it be great if your parents could have had someone who spoke their language? He's like, you know what, girl, calm down. I'll help you.
But I felt like that was even easy to persuade him.
Yeah.
I was like, really? He was such a jerk this entire time. And then she has one little heartfelt moment, like that was maybe a minute long. And all of a sudden he was like, okay, I'll do it.
She really could have gone or led with, and I think it would have been just as powerful, because I think it's more believable. She was like, this is how much you're going to get paid. And he would totally do it.
Right.
Because interpreters make bank.
Really?
Yeah. On this note, guys, we do this show for free for you guys. Do you know why we do it? Because we clearly love this show so much.
True statement.
We have been talking for over 15 minutes about Daphne. That's how much we love this show, guys. So we want you guys to do one very simple thing for us. If you like our show, and we really hope you do, we hope that you like us. That would be great. Go on to iTunes and rate and review us. If you like it, give us 5 stars. If you don't like us, we understand. I don't know how you got this far into the show, but whatever.
And then just don't rate.
No, you can rate us. We'll take 4 stars and leave a comment. Let us know what we're doing well, what we could be doing better. Let us know if you think that Josh is annoying. Because he is.
He's awful.
And if you think Daphne deserves to be punished for what she did.
I could go on about it forever.
Let's switch gears and talk about the other sister. Let's talk about Bae.
And my heart just goes out for her so much watching it. It drives me crazy. I'm like, poor Bae has just kept it together for apparently 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And has just been fine with being on house arrest with that bracelet on. And nobody seems to care. I almost felt like they were treating her still like a criminal. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It kind of felt like a lot of people in the family forgot that she didn't do it.
Didn't do it. And then when she gets in trouble, they're mad at her. Like, immediately, Catherine is mad at her. And it confuses me so much. I'm like, why is nobody feeling bad and recognizing that she is being punished for a very long time for absolutely nothing and actually doing a really nice thing?
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting because later when Emmett approaches Daphne and is like, no one wants to tell you because they're afraid you're too fragile, we see that it's Emmett and Toby that realize that this is kind of a messed up situation. Yeah. And the adults, we've talked about on the show a lot, the adults on the show are not the brightest.
No.
And they're like, oh, Bae, like, you're in trouble, but you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything wrong.
It drives me absolutely crazy.
That said, Bae does a lot of stupid stuff, and I think...
But none of the stupid stuff that Bae does is as big as the stupid things Daphne has done of recent.
Because she's only done a few, and they were ridiculously stupid.
Like, everything that Daphne has done bad has been illegal. Mm-hmm. Absolutely everything. Everything. Yeah. That girl should be in jail at this point. I don't understand it at all.
She's going to be a doctor.
And that's the excuse apparently for everything that she does. Yeah. Across every board, they're like, well, she has a bright future.
Well, it's Bae
Does she?
it. All right, so Bae's future. Let's talk about it. Emmett is heading over to LA to go to USC, and she'll be joining him in December as the episode begins. She heads off to community service for the first time. We meet this blonde girl. I'm going to say some things about this blonde girl.
Go for it.
They made her seem like she was on 16 and Pregnant before, like, coming
They
to the
really,
right? They
really
were playing
did.
that up.
And they made it seem really bad. Honestly, they painted that in such a bad light that I was like, this is actually kind of bad. You guys probably shouldn't be doing, you know what I mean? Because Bae's like, oh, kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she has said so many curse words or something in a row, and Bae's doesn't know what to say to her.
This girl who, that anti-DUI speech, I was like, Bae, like, you never say things.
Right?
Also, agreed. I have such mom moments on this show, and I am not a mother, but like, guys, yes, it is incredibly selfish to get drunk and get in a car.
True. Also,
texting while driving. Also a terrible thing to do.
Listen.
You weren't driving. Anywho. So this blonde girl realizes that Bae is a liar because Bae doesn't have the bone to be a criminal.
Right?
Like, she doesn't have the criminal bone. She
doesn't look a criminal at all. She's just like, I may have done this.
Yeah, she could have come up with some story. Or she should have been like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, right.
Pretend it was murder. Yeah, that's what you always do, is pretend it's murder. All right. So we meet this guy, Robbie. Isn't he attractive? No!
Yes.
He's a felon.
Listen, when she went up and talked to him and he showed those pearly whites, I was like, oh, he is
when he started
cute.
talking, he was more attractive.
It's true. It's true. When they first showed him, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But the minute they went up to him, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Robbie.
So Robbie's sister Marcy, who, I'm gonna be honest, what is this, an episode of Weeds? That is not the kind of person I expect to deliver heroin.
Absolutely. I was like, does she know she's delivering heroin? I'm confused.
I think she does, because she says, tell him that he owes me one. Like, oh, by the way, you owe me, like, you have to pay for this.
Oh, probably true. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah. The conversation, when you watch it back, is the way she says things are very like,
true.
Oh.
I didn't think about that. And it made sense, though, when we found out that there was heroin in there, because when that conversation was happening and or that transaction was happening and she was passing on the lunch, I was like, why is everybody making such a big deal about Bae giving this kid his lunch? Like, he left it. Big deal. Give him his lunch. We're done.
I don't understand why there wasn't someone there monitoring who's talking to the people on community service.
I thought the same thing, because when they're having all these conversations about the baby and then with Robbie, like, shouldn't they, I mean, I don't know how it works doing community service, but I imagine, thank God, we're both, our records are clean.
Yeah, we have sisters who took the fall for us.
Yes. But they're having all these conversations and nobody is like telling them to stop and do their work.
Right.
And I thought that was weird, which granted, I don't know, maybe everybody's allowed to have powwows all day while they're on the side of the road, but
chit chat.
I didn't think so. I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
I'm with you.
And then there's one of the probation officers behind one of them during one of the conversations.
Yeah.
Like, you see his back and I'm like, well, he can hear them. Why is he not turning around? No?
No. I'm
not
with
happening?
you. I'm with you. That was ridiculous. I think what really bugged me the most is, so ABC Family, as people may have noticed, has realized that their fan base is not, as they thought, 10 to 12 to 13-year-olds. It's women in their early 20s.
We're moving up.
They can move the content up a little bit. For example, last season when Daphne did cocaine, and this season when Bae passes heroin.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
And there was when that officer or probation officer, that was her probation officer, right? That's
the woman who yells at her? Yes.
Who
yells at her?
Yes. I've already expressed that I did not like that performance. I did not think it was very convincing, which is completely fine. But anyways,
yeah.
I didn't even understand the dialogue, because she didn't even give Bae a moment to say what she felt happened.
Well, because Bae is a criminal.
Clearly. Because if it was Daphne, we would ask her all the questions and pat her hand the whole time. But with Bae, it's like, oh no, now you're in big old trouble.
Well, the difference is, if it was Daphne, she wouldn't have gotten community service. She would have gotten jail time.
True statement.
Because Daphne has... Remember when Daphne blackmailed...
Yep. This is what is...
Yeah, when Daphne does something bad, it's terrible.
What are we teaching people, ABC family?
That you can pass heroin in a sandwich. That's what I learned. Luckily, Emmett takes Bay on a date after her shift. And he made a new timeline, which was super romantic and sappy.
So cute.
Adorable.
They're having all the moments between that couple. Oh, can't.
Which, I mean, I feel bad because up until recently, I have been such a Daphne Emmett fan. And like,
what?
Because remember, they used to...
Stop. No, I remember, and I was never in support. So I'm glad I was not here.
You just won all the Bennett fans over. They were all like, oh, she's one of us. I'm one of you now. Calm down. I see it. It was very romantic.
They're perfect.
And then the bike won't start, which literally has never happened. And she's late. Anyway, she sees the probation officer, Robbie. So then they find out that Robbie is actually an inmate, which I don't believe that this is a thing. I don't know
either, but wouldn't he be in like a different colored jumpsuit at least? You know what I mean?
Wouldn't he
Like,
be
or
not
in a
allowed
full
near
jumpsuit?
her?
I have no idea. I don't understand.
As a man in prison, wouldn't you be not allowed near women who are there for community service? Like, I feel like there's danger that they're asking for.
I could understand if it was like jail that he was in, that maybe they do their service hours together. But prison, do prisoners ever really leave unless they're being transported? You know what I mean?
I didn't think so. I don't know. I don't know the laws in this state.
Well, and then how... Because Tess is just there for community service, right? That is her name, Tess, the blonde girl.
Oh, she had
and
a name?
she's just there. I believe so. I don't know. I tried to look up on IMDb because I couldn't remember.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Tess. I may be making that up.
All right.
But anyway,
the blonde girl who has the kid.
Blonde, which they kept referring to as kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, boy or girl? Have we not decided yet? I don't know.
We haven't decided yet. We haven't decided if she's staying.
Yeah, who knows? But anyways, it doesn't make sense then either how if she's just there for community service and he's actually in prison, when did they create this relationship that they're in while they're doing their community service? Like, hey, I like the way you pick up that trash.
Right. In my mind, I mean, if they were hanging out after, that doesn't make sense either, because as soon as they get off the bus, he goes back to prison. Or, like, I don't understand. There were a lot of questions this episode. All right. So the bike won't start. Where am I? Okay. So, sorry, I'm so frustrated by Tess. Let's call her that. I like it. Blonde.
We could so be wrong. I could have totally made that up
Her
just
name
now.
is like Janelle or something. All right. So Tess, I feel like they started, usually in the show, I think that people start with animosity. For example, when we had Bay joining the school, Carlton.
Right.
And, oh my God, I forgot her name. The really adorable, the adorable deaf girl who is gay.
Oh, yeah.
She's like tiny. She's so cute.
I can't remember her name either. I love her.
Sorry, guys. Like that was there was a struggle, and then they became friends, and everything's okay.
Yeah.
So,
they do that with all.
Right. So this one started out they were friends, and like instantly switched to not being friends. Like, you're a liar. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Stay away from my man. Okay.
Okay, whoa. But you knew it was going to happen the minute she brought up that sandwich. The minute she did that, like, double take at Robbie, like, should I do this? I'm like, really? We're going to get mad over the sandwich and it's going to be a girl fight?
More importantly, Bay, so when Emmett confronts Daphne about this, and he says, like, Bay did something really stupid and she wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for you that would have put her in the situation. Like, she's in the situation, and in the situation did something stupid by taking the sandwich.
But did she even do something stupid? She didn't know.
It was stupid. There's clearly a reason. Like, don't talk to people, Bay. You're not there to, she's not there to make friends.
Bay, your track record is not good.
Yeah.
So just don't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Do your job, get out.
Right? She could have brought, some music to listen to. It bothers me that she's trying to make friends with criminals.
Stop making friends at all.
Yeah. Don't be friends with criminals. Anyway, so
funny.
Emmett confronts Daphne and says, there's no forgiving you for this ever. Oh, so sad. Don't worry, they'll be friends again soon.
Yeah.
And Melody gives Emmett this big old speech about how he needs to go to USC because this is an opportunity that he can't miss. And I'm really glad that there's a smart adult.
Right? I think she may be the only smart adult on that show.
I think so. They killed the only other one.
True.
Yeah.
And then the grandma, Daphne's grandma,
she was a smart woman also, but they were like, you're too smart, leave.
Bye.
Yeah. So Melody gives in this big speech about not missing an opportunity. I think that I wish that would have been a bigger part of this episode.
Right.
Because I feel like Daphne is missing a big opportunity.
It's true.
Because is she planning on staying at UMKC, and then transferring? Is that the plan?
I don't know, because I feel like that was not addressed at all, really, her deciding to stay and go to that college and not go to Gallaudet. It confused me so much because I felt like that should have been something that they focused a lot actually on with the show, because I feel it should have made Bae angry. It should have disappointed the family to some degree.
Yeah.
But instead they painted it as her staying and not going was doing something better for the family, considering what they had given up. And that didn't make sense to me.
I agree. I think they should have definitely addressed what this means for her future, how she's extended.
Right.
I feel like she's extended her undergraduate years at least by 2 years now, because she can only do core classes and a few pre-med.
Yeah.
And I assume she plans to transfer somewhere.
Right. And I feel like that would upset Bae too, to do something that big so her sister can go away to school and then she just stays.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really didn't make sense to me. And I thought at the end when Daphne was coming into Bae's room and talking to her, I thought Bae was actually going to say that about her staying at home, but not at all.
She didn't want to talk to her.
Which I get.
I need you to not be here right now.
I would have said it in a lot meaner words though.
Right. Well, who wouldn't? Yeah. Bae, I think she was still soaking in all the anger. You know, when you're just like, I just need to get all of my thoughts together before I yell at anyone.
Yep. And she was just letting her talk at her. Yeah. And that was it.
She's like, I got this.
Breathing.
I'm holding it. Yeah. Yep. I think that it took her a long time to get mad at Daphne, and I'm glad we got there.
Yes.
Speaking of people mad at Daphne, Toby was avoiding Daphne. And then when he sees her, he's like, how could you let Bae do this?
Which I am so glad. The only reasonable person in that family to immediately feel that way.
Yeah. And he's still with Lily. So that's nice for him.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm fine with that. I feel like there wasn't much of that happening in the episode. So I was like, well,
Also, he got rid of that stuff on his face.
Yes.
Which is the most important thing. The most important thing, guys. All right. The last storyline, which is an irrelevant storyline.
Yes.
Okay. Regina's going to move out. And she goes and sees Melody's whatever, and she's so supportive and great. John and Catherine are like, we don't want you to go. You should stay with us. And Regina's like, you're right. I'm going to stay.
And that's kind of it.
Well, no. Well, and then Bae gets her thing extended by 100 days, and Daphne stays in town. So Regina wouldn't have left anyway.
Yep.
Like that.
So, thank you.
That was a waste of 20 minutes of the show.
Yep, that we could have focused on being mad at Daphne.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. A lot of things could have been addressed in that 20 minutes where everything resolved on its own.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. I think it's time for predictions.
Wow. I feel like I have so many.
Your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
All right, before you give us our predictions, the promo shows us that Daphne is struggling like crazy next episode in school, which makes sense. And Bae has to pretend that everything is okay with Emmett being gone. All right, predict.
Okay, I have so many, but ones that I'm concerned about. I'm afraid with that Robbie character, that Bae and Robbie, since they've presented him, and now that Emmett's gone, that something may transpire. I'm seriously afraid of that happening because now that Tess is involved and already jealous, well, assuming her name is Tess.
Yeah, the blonde girl.
The blonde girl. I'm really afraid something's going to happen with that. And I think a lot of issues between Bae and Daphne.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. But I'm glad because they need to be addressed. But anyways, those are the two that I'll capitalize on.
Okay. I think that they're going to present Josh as a love interest for Daphne, which I think is stupid.
I still think he may be gay.
Okay. You think he's going to come out? I think that what it looks like is John and Catherine and Regina have become this adorable polyamorous relationship. And I really hope it goes that way because
Wouldn't that be cute?
That is a really interesting storyline, especially for ABC Family.
That's true.
2, it's never addressed on TV and it really should. And 3, it would be adorable.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
rooting for it.
I mean, in my dreams, John has... Anyway.
Okay.
So, I think Daphne is going to struggle and hit... I mean, I feel like she's hit rock bottom, but I think she's going to get depressed, reasonably so.
Oh, and do more cocaine?
No. If she does more drugs, if she starts doing Adderall or something because she needs to focus.
Oh my gosh, that probably will happen.
We don't need that storyline.
And if it wasn't going to happen, you may have just put it out there and now it's going to happen.
Yeah. We don't need it. We need to see Daphne making smart decisions, and we need to see her pay for her consequences.
Absolutely.
Pay for I said words.
All of the attention that the family is now bringing up, I think she may honestly go in and turn herself in before Bae is done with her probation. I think it may happen. But then she's not going to go to jail. Let's be honest. She's not. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
all right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been a crazy season premiere of Switched at Birth. Hannah, why don't you tell the people where they can find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at HotShotDude, and you can find me on Twitter at HannahKathleen2.
Awesome. And of course, you can find me online at Yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, all the good stuff at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Also, here at AfterBuzz on a whole bunch of other shows, including Grimm, Constantine, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, all sorts of other shows. Tune in, and we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.